Welcome to the weekend. Day 18 of the Beef Butter Bacon Egg Challenge for the month of October. My name is Lance. I'm the North Dakota Carnivore. How you guys doing today? So, what are you having today? What are you eating? No, I myself, I'll be having about 1 1/3 pounds of ground chuck, uh, and along with some bacon and maybe a couple eggs later this afternoon. Not quite sure yet on that one. Last night, I did have a pound of ground beef mixed with 4 eggs and 4 pieces of bacon cut up. And then I had an additional 3 pieces of bacon on top of that. So it's probably one of the easiest meals that you can actually make on a carnivore diet. It is so simple and it's so filling. This is what it looked like. So that's 4 eggs, 1 pound of ground beef, 4 cut up pieces of bacon, and then 3 more pieces of bacon on top of that. And I had a hard time finishing that actually. Last couple of bites, I was like, I'm getting full. It still tasted great, but I was starting to get full. But I finished eating it. Then this morning when I got up and I weighed myself, since I finished my fast last Friday, my lowest weight was 220. I got back up to 222, which I expected to gain weight. I actually expected to gain the full 5 pounds I lost in the fast back, but I didn't. I was 222.8, and this morning now I'm 222.4. So I've lost about a half a pound today for now. So hopefully my body's going back to burning fat. And it's one of those things where something like this with the proper fat to protein ratio, this wasn't as fatty of a ground beef as I thought it was going to be, which probably helped me out maybe burn more fat inside my body. And that's actually a pretty good thing to do. But that's what that was there. So that was my dinner last night. I almost didn't finish it. And what are the macros that you're doing? Are you tracking your macros at all? For most, having 70 to 80% of your calories coming from an animal fat is the ideal diet, with getting just 20 to 30% of your calories coming from protein. You don't need carbohydrates. They're not essential. Your body will make you glucose from your protein fats, from the amino acids that you get in there. So you don't need to eat anything that has carbohydrates. Now, you can. Meat does have very, very small amounts of carbohydrates and things like scallops. Scallops is a seafood. Scallops have carbohydrates, and they're not bad for you, but you don't need to eat them. What you really don't need to eat are any of the plants. Every plant has a toxin that tries to get you to not eat it. Well, you know what? I'm going to listen to the plant. But the only thing I'm going to do with the plant is listen to it about that point, and I'm not going to eat it because I don't need to. My body will make glucose as I need it. Now, one of the biggest things that people complain about with the carnivore diet is they're not losing weight. And it's not everybody. It's a small amount of people, and they have a hard time losing weight on the carnivore diet. And I talk to those people, and I ask them, what are you eating? And they seem to be eating the 70 to 80% of their calories coming from fat. They've tried going higher. They get the diarrhea, and they're still not losing weight. Now, I just recently found a person on YouTube, Jenny Middich, and she has some really good information. She does a lot of N=1 testing on herself and her husband. he was doing the carnivore diet for over a year, didn't lose any weight, and he was eating the 70 to 80% calories coming from fat and all that. She tweaked his fat intake a little bit, made it lower. It was like 45 to 60% of his calories coming from fat. And then he started losing weight. So there's a small group of people out there that need a lower high-fat diet. Yes, eating 45 to 60% of your calories from fat is still a high-fat diet. And just having that and knowing that can make all the difference. So if you're one of these people who track your macros, who track what you eat, and are honest about what you're tracking, if you're doing that 70 to 80% of calories coming from fat and you're not losing weight, but you're feeling better and everything else seems to be going better, maybe try cutting your fat intake down a little bit. Now, what does that mean? That doesn't mean stop eating high fat. It just means if you're eating a ground beef, choose a leaner cut of ground beef, the 85-15 or the 88-12. That falls into that 60% of calories from fat. If you feel like you need to go a little bit lower, the 90-10 or the whatever will get you there also. But you're still looking to get most of your calories from fat. And it makes a tremendous difference on how you feel and your weight loss. I've had to do that myself just a little bit here. Not that long ago, I was taking in more fat than I normally would. I did this on purpose. I did it so I could stop my weight loss. I intentionally stopped my weight loss. I did. And I did it for a reason. I had issues. The last time I lost a lot of weight, I had issues with my heart. I ended up having to have heart surgery to correct the issues that I had. I blamed it on my weight loss. I could probably say it was mostly from my diet, because at that time my diet consisted mostly of very lean meats and a lot of carbohydrates. A lot of almost vegetarian diet that I was on. Now, my doctor wouldn't tell me that. The nurses, nobody would tell me something like that. It wasn't until a year ago that I found that you don't have to eat vegetables or fruits. You don't have to. They're not necessary. They're there, and our bodies can use them if needed. And when are they needed? When meat is scarce and you have no other foods around to eat. When you don't have an animal source for your food. So, in case of starvation, if you're starving, you can eat vegetables. You can eat fruits. You can eat a plant if you're starving. But every plant has a toxin in it that tries to keep you from eating it. Yes, I notice it right away. Now, if I eat something that has a plant in it, I know it the next day. If I eat too much of it, I do. I get the pain. You know, it's one of those things where I can just look at it and say, well, here comes the pain because it's going to be coming. But if I eat meat, I don't have that issue. I lost all my pain doing this type of a diet. So that's about all I had to say today. It's been a wonderful day today already. you know what to do. You got to eat meat, be happy, because that's all it takes. You'll have a great weekend. Plan to succeed, and you will. Plan to fail, and you will. What you set your mind to, you will do. It really is that simple. And yet it's the hardest thing to do. But what you plan for is what is going to happen. You plan to succeed, you will succeed. And I know you'll do it. I know you'll get there. So plan to eat meat and you'll be happy. You really will. You all have a great weekend and we'll talk.